As Kitty's sister-in-law, Dolly decided to visit her. She found Kitty sitting in a low chair, with hollow eyes and a dazed expression. Dolly, who was also suffering in her own marriage, comforted Kitty by saying, "Vronsky isn't worth all this pain." Kitty's voice trembled as she replied, "He isn't worth it. He doesn't see me at all. I won't debase myself to love someone who doesn't love me." Dolly then asked, "What about Levin?" At the mention of Levin, Kitty became agitated and exclaimed, "Don't bring up Levin. I won't go back to loving someone who has changed their heart." Kitty's words struck at Dolly's deepest pain, and Dolly burst into tears, with Kitty joining her in a tearful embrace. The two sisters are both hurt by their emotions. When you are hurt, you often create an excuse to escape, using it as a reason, but it doesn't soothe the heart. At this moment, the only thing these two sisters can do is cry, which is a common reaction for many women dealing with emotional wounds. Let's return to Anna. On the day after the ball, she boarded the train back to Moscow. She told herself that it was all over. The handsome Vronsky who had touched her heart was just a brief interlude in her life. From now on, Anna would return to her daily routine, and everything would return to how it was before. But Vronsky didn't give up. He was already infatuated. To pursue Anna, he followed her all the way to Petersburg. When Anna saw Vronsky suddenly appear in front of her in the train carriage, she was astonished, then her face lit up with joy. "Love is impossible to hide," Anna softly said. "You're back too." Vronsky stared at Anna and said, "Wherever you go, I'll follow." This was a confession, making Anna both excited and scared. Anna looked down and said, "Please forget what you've said, I will too." But Vronsky insisted, "Every glance, every movement of yours, I'll never forget." Anna pretended to be stern and said, "That's enough, enough." But inside, she felt a bit of happiness after all. She was being confessed to by a man she admired. That night on the train, neither Anna nor Vronsky slept well. Anna was filled with anxiety and unease. She remembered she was a married woman with responsibilities to her family, husband, and son. But under this pressure, she also felt a flicker of joy, passion, and excitement stirring within her. As for Vronsky, Anna was all he could think about. He kept replaying every moment they had shared, every word she had said, and started imagining a beautiful future together. When the train arrived in Petersburg, Vronsky got off and waited to see Anna one more time. But what did he see? Anna's husband, Karenin. At that moment, Vronsky realized Anna was a married woman. Seeing Karenin's face, a feeling of discomfort gripped Anna's heart, since she wasn't hoping to see him. But Anna got off the train and went to her husband, Karenin. Vronsky watched from the side and noticed Anna spoke with her husband with a hint of awkwardness. From his playboy instincts, he concluded that Anna didn't love her husband. Vronsky boldly approached and bowed to greet Anna and her husband. Anna introduced him to Karenin, saying, "This is Count Vronsky." Karenin said to Anna with a hint of coldness, "We've met before. You left with his mother but returned with his son." This sharp observation showed Karenin's keen judgment as an official. Vronsky said, "I hope to have the pleasure of visiting your home." Karenin gave him a cold look and said, "Welcome." It was purely out of politeness. He didn't really mean it. He never looked directly at Vronsky again. Anna turned away with her husband, but her ears stayed behind, listening to Vronsky's footsteps. Back home, Anna's son, Seryoza, ran out joyfully to hug her, clinging to her neck and acting cute. This made Anna forget the worries and experiences of the journey and also Vronsky, as she returned to her life. That evening, Anna entered her bedroom in her marriage. The vitality and energy she had shown at the Moscow ball seemed to extinguish like a flame. At this point in the story, Anna remains trapped in her marriage. Her identity is that of a wife. Let's talk about what life was like for upper-class wives in that era. In Petersburg's high society, there was a big social circle with many smaller circles underneath. For Anna, there were 3 circles: First, her husband's official circle, made up of Karenin's colleagues, where her presence was like a luxury item. Second, the circle that helped Karenin climb the social ladder, filled with older women and status-seeking men, where Anna had to shine and play along. Third was Anna's own social scene, full of balls, parties, and fancy clothes. You'll find these three circles didn't fit romantic Anna at all. She kept trying to convince herself to settle into this life. But Vronsky's appearance rekindled the passion within her, making her realize once more that this wasn't what she wanted. So what did Anna want? She craved love. After returning from Moscow, Anna acted out of character. She began frequently attending social events she previously disliked. Why? Because she wanted to see Vronsky in these social settings. Vronsky, meanwhile, was relentless in pursuing Anna, ignoring any public opinion. Society is often lenient towards men, so Vronsky attended every event where he might see Anna, balls, parties, theaters, hoping for a private date with her. He kept declaring his love for her, and no one thought it was inappropriate. They just smiled. For Anna, though, she knew this was a dangerous situation. She deliberately avoided Vronsky's advances, but his pursuit became the highlight of her life. The uncontrollable fire of love. Anna and Vronsky fall for each other. One day, at a gathering, the topic of high society marriages came up. The hostess, Mrs. Betsy, said, "I believe only a marriage based on reason is truly happy." Vronsky replied, "But a marriage based solely on reason often scatters like dust because unacknowledged love always emerges after marriage." This has become a famous quote. Mrs. Betsy laughed and said, "Love that comes after marriage is a mistake, but to understand what love really is, you have to make mistakes first and then correct them." Then she turned to Anna and asked, "What do you think?" Anna replied, "I think if there are as many kinds of wisdom as there are heads, then there are as many kinds of love as there are hearts." Anna was open-minded and tolerant. Vronsky perked up listening to Anna, but then Anna suddenly turned to him and said, "I received a letter from Moscow. Kitty is very ill, and what you've done is very wrong." Vronsky looked at Anna with a hurt expression and said, "I'm at fault, but isn't it because of you? You see, playboys can be so shameless." Anna's face turned red immediately. She said, "Remember, no more talk of love or whatever. I hate that word. Today I'm telling you this is where it ends." Vronsky looked at Anna and said, "You are my life. I can't separate you from me. We will be happy together." Anna said, "Don't say things like that anymore. Let's just be friends." But this was clearly insincere. Vronsky, with his experience, saw right through her. He declared, "We can't just be friends. Either we'll be the happiest people or the most miserable." It was almost prophetic. Soon, the overly affectionate relationship between Anna and Vronsky became a hot topic in society. This also alarmed Karenin, who decided to have a talk with his wife. The thought that she might be in love with someone else terrified him. He anxiously paced back and forth, even cracking his fingers. Karenin reminded Anna, "You should think about the family, about our son." Anna interrupted him. "There's nothing more to say. I want to go to sleep." She was avoiding the discussion because she couldn't resolve the conflict. She was truly in a dilemma. Anna lay in bed, watching her husband asleep. But her thoughts were with Vronsky. She whispered, "It's too late. Everything is too late." What she meant was she regretted not meeting him before marriage. Yet, at the same time, her eyes sparkled with the uncontrollable fire of love. Next, Vronsky continued to pursue Anna relentlessly, and Anna was unable to resist her true desires. They began dating, and she found immense joy but also felt deep guilt and remorse. Holding Vronsky close, she cried, "God, forgive me. Everything is over. Now I have nothing except you." Vronsky knelt before Anna and said, "You are my whole life. I'll remember these happy moments." This complex relationship made Anna feel both disgusted and fearful. On one hand, She knew she belonged to her family and had responsibilities to her husband and child. On the other hand, she was deeply entangled in her emotions, and many people were waiting to see her downfall. But Vronsky didn't feel the same pressure as Anna. He wasn't bothered by the gossip. To him, it was an honor because Anna was so beautiful. Vronsky even signed up for the officers' obstacle race and invited Anna to watch. On the day of the race, Vronsky came to Anna's house. That day, Seryoza was out playing, so he wasn't home. Anna was sitting behind the flower bushes on the terrace, wearing a white dress with a wide embroidered hem, radiating stunning beauty. Vronsky was mesmerized by her. When Anna saw Vronsky, he immediately walked over, took her cold hand and asked, "What were you thinking when I arrived?" Anna didn't answer. Frowning, her bright eyes looked at him, her hand trembling. She looked at Vronsky and whispered, "I'm pregnant."